Virtually everyone who played Civilization liked it. We can assume this because the game has sold some 800,000 copies since its release in 1991 and is a perennial fixture on any knowledgeable list of best all-time strategy games. However, virtually everyone who played also had just one or two things they'd like to see change. After 5 years of listening to this, Microprose has taken many of those suggestions and is planning to release Sid Meier's Civilization 2. The basic game remains unchanged. You start as the leader of a small tribe circa 4000 BC, with your goal being to conquer the world or to become the first civilization to reach outer space. However, changes have been made in virtually every part of the game, with major renovations coming in the areas of diplomacy, combat, and graphics. Please keep in mind that the screenshots that we're showing you right now are from an alpha version of the game. The new diplomacy system is much more flexible and results in more realistic consequences if you're perceived as a leader who breaks his diplomatic word. In addition to peace treaties and military alliances, your negotiating options now include cooperative alliances, territorial boundaries, temporary ceasefires, and enhanced trading. Also, tribes that are at peace with each other will no longer be able to leave military units in the immediate vicinity of other civilization cities. Instead, you won't be able to have your units set up within 2 squares of another city. If you consistently break treaties, your reputation will suffer and other leaders will refuse to deal with you. And once you've made contact with another civilization, you'll be able to send an emissary to them at any time. You may not like the response you get from their emissary, but that's what real diplomacy is like. This new system looks as though it's going to add an entire new dimension to the game for veteran Civ players. Trading has also become more realistic, as it's been placed on a supply and demand basis. When you build a caravan, you'll need to designate specific goods for the caravan to carry. You can also use caravans within your own empire to transport food from one city to another. Acknowledging complaints that their original combat model was basic at best, Civ 2's designers considered going to a tactical combat system. That idea was discarded because the strategy game's AI simply didn't lend itself to the change. Instead, the weird ends of the combat result table have been eliminated, and modern military units have been given even more of an advantage. In addition to attack and defense strengths, units now have hit points. As hit points are lost, units become damaged, affecting their movement rate. You can repair units in a couple of ways, quickly by moving them to cities with harbors, ports, or airports, or slowly by simply skipping a turn. Also, a number of new units, such as spies, elephants, and stealth fighters, have been added to fill in the gaps as you move from the Bronze Age to modern warfare. I never quite understood the complaints about Civ's low resolution look. I mean, if you're in love with graphics, what are you doing playing a hardcore strategy game anyway? But Civ 2 should address most of those complaints. The graphics are high-res, the view is isometric, and the unit icons and terrain tiles have been redesigned. Each of the wonders of the world has its own video clip, and you can seek advice from a video town council. In addition to the new military units, there are more wonders of the world and new city improvements. The technology tree has been revamped, and there are over 20 new technological advances. There are also 7 new tribes, and a 6th level of difficulty, deity, has been added. In an effort to address complaints from those avid Civ players who were so good they never had a game get into the modern age, gameplay should be more balanced. What this means in English is that if you're doing well, computer opponents will come after you. If you're doing poorly, they'll be nicer. Civ 2 will also ship with a map editor. You can play preset scenarios such as World War II or Alexander the Great. An accelerated start will be available, which will allow you to skip over a third of the game and start at 2000 BC. You'll be allowed to modify some of the game's rules at the start, and if you simply can't stand to lose, a cheat mode will be available, although using this will hurt your final civilization score. About the only thing missing from this package will be the multiplayer mode, which works so well in CivNet. And why do I get this strange feeling that Microprose is going to be releasing a CivNet 2 package just about in time for Christmas? That minor complaint aside, Civ 2 looks to be everything that fans of the original have been waiting for. It should also appeal to those strategy gamers out there who haven't played the game. Look for the game to hit store shelves sometime in the spring.